Hi, I'm Simon, and as always, a very warm welcome. This video is about fixing one of these. I'm sure you probably know what it is. If you've not read the description, it's an Atari 520 ST FM. Now, this isn't my Atari. I was sent it by a viewer called Stephen, and he reached out to me and said he's dug it out of his loft and he's tried getting it to work and it doesn't. And more specifically, I'll put the video up. But he sent me a video showing where it did. And every time he tries to read a disc, it either shows that there's nothing on it, or it just comes up with a load of garbled text. Now, my first thought was it's probably going to be a problem with the disk drive itself. But then, as I'm waiting for it to come through the post, I started to wonder perhaps it's going to be something a little bit more complicated than that. So let's get it connected up now that it's here, and let's see what it's doing for me. Right, I've got everything plugged in. Let's power on and see what we got. Now, I know from speaking with Stephen that the machine does, or at least should start. It started for him. So we'll just wait for it to fire up. In fact, I'll just stick a disc in just to speed it up. There we go. Yeah, all gobbledygook. I'm wondering, as all the other text seems fine, I'm wondering if it's just a problem with the floppy disk itself. I think first things first is let's get the disk out, give it a clean, and see if that improves things. Now, one thing I don't have for the Atari ST is a diagnostic cartridge. So I headed over to PCBware's website and went straight into their shared projects. And typing into the top, Atari ST, and there we go. First couple of hits, diagnostic cartridges. So let's click on that first one. And then let's just click add to cart. Choose the silk screen and the solder mask. I don't know, let's go for yellow. Why not? Let's submit that. And there we go. It really is as simple as that. And what they'll do is they'll audit the file to make sure it's all in order before they make it. But not only do PCBware do beautifully looking PCBs like these that they've made for me previously, they also do other cool things as well, like CNC machining, 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, and even injection molding. So whatever your project needs, don't forget to check out PCBware. With PCBs from as little as $5 and super fast shipping, they come highly recommended. And thank you to PCBware for sponsoring this video. So opening up the ST is pretty easy. There's half a dozen or so screws on the back. You want to go for the ones with the square holes around it. Those are the ones that will free up the case. There's also a warranty sticker there, so the board's obviously had some work on it at some point in its life. But it's just a case of getting rid of some of those dust bunnies and removing this shielding around the ST, which is a bit of a pain, but it's not too difficult to do. I did change out the floppy and try that off camera. I lost the footage for that, so I did try a non-good working floppy, but that didn't make any difference whatsoever. I had exactly the same issues, so I was quite happy that wasn't a problem. And I thought while I was there, I will just give the ROM chips a clean, although they were very clean anyway. And that made no difference to the problem whatsoever, unsurprisingly. So just looking around the board in general, it all looks pretty good. Now, we know it's had some work done to it because there's a repair sticker on the back, but other than a few dust bunnies here and there, it all looks pretty good, at least to the eye. Now, one thing that's referred to is potential problem could be the power supply being really noisy, and that could be affecting it. So what I'll do is I'll get a non-good power supply out of one of my other STs, and we'll give that a swap over. But whilst we've got it all in bits, we might as well just have a bit of a look. But the board does look really, really good. There's no bulging caps or anything else like that. Everything looks to be how you would want it to look, really. We've got a few chips on the back here. There's the Yamaha sound chip, and this is the DMA controller. So the DMA chip back here, that stands for direct memory access. This links in with the hard drive connector, which I think is that one there. And it also links in with the floppy drive through the 1772 disk controller chip, which is there. Now, knowing that changing the floppy drive doesn't work, it makes me wonder if one of these two chips are indeed suspect. So that will be something to look at once we've negated the power supply. But let's have a look underneath the board and see what that looks like as well. But I would imagine it will look just as good as what the top does. But it'll be interesting to see if we can see what repairs have been done to it. Now, one thing that's jumping out of me straight away is I can see there's some work done here, here. Some work done down there. So someone's been there before us. So let's flip it over. These look like they've been replacing the caps. If we flip it back over and look there, yeah, it looks like someone's been in and replaced a few of the caps, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But looking around those areas, it all looks good. So let's get the replacement power supply, get it all connected back up and see how that behaves. Now, I did try another power supply from one of my other STs, and there is no surprise there. I'm sure that made no difference whatsoever. Still exactly the same. But I did discover this. I don't know if you can see it there. I'll put it on the microscope. And I thought, wow, maybe that's the problem. But I have done a continuity test, and whilst it's not perfect, it is absolutely fine. There is a signal passing through on that, so it's not that problem. Next thing I'm going to try, I think, is get it connected up to my hard drive, because what I'm thinking is, if I move this out of the way, I am of the opinion that it's going to be either the DMA chip or it's going to be the floppy drive controller. Now, the floppy drive controller, and I'll bring up a diagram if I can find it, is the floppy drive controller links into this, but it's got nothing to do with the hard drive, obviously. So if we are having problems with the hard drive connected up, then it makes me think that the problem is downline from the 1772 controller. So let's try connecting up the hard drive and seeing how we get on with that. Right, so I've got my mega file connected up. I've connected back up the floppy drive. We're back on the original power supply. So in theory, this should boot straight off the hard drive without any problem. Straight away I can see there's an issue. It should be coming up with the hard drive. It's not. No, it's just going straight to the disk. It's not even trying to access the hard drive. And I will be very careful. Obviously I've got an exposed power supply there. But no, it's doing nothing. It's trying to access the disk. There isn't a disk in there. But for argument's sake, just put a disk in. We've just got the bog standard desktop. I'll try doing a restart. No, it's not seeing the hard drives at all. It's not booting off those. I'm pretty confident now that it's going to be that DMA controller. Right, all been well. A little bit of gentle persuasion. Oh, nice and steady. And that's out perfectly. So this is my working ST. So let's give this one a try, just to make sure that everything is in order. And I've got Stephen's floppy disk here. So let's just see that that does what it needs to do. Yep, it's reading the disk straight away, isn't it? Right, next thing to do, we will swap over Stephen's suspected faulty DMA chip and see if it can read the disk. So let's get that swapped. So in with the suspected faulty one. Let's put it back together. Right, moment of truth. Still the same disk in. Check. Let's put the power back on. Being super careful when we're putting our fingers. Right. So this shouldn't work. So this is my good ST with the faulty DMA chip. This shouldn't read the disk. Yep. Straight to desktop. Yes. So exactly the same problem as Stephen's. So I'm really happy that that is now the problem identified. That is going to be the DMA chip. So I need to get one ordered. I've spoken to Stephen, he's quite happy about that. So now it's confirmed I can get that ordered. It's what I'll do is I'll fit a socket to the PCB onto Stephen's, and rather than soldering the new chip in, and then it can put it all back together and see if it works. Right, let's get some solder wick. Top tip that I was given is put some flux on your solder braid. That will help it wick up any solder. So I've put that into practice and that's worked really well for me. Right, just need to get mine heated up. Right, how does that look? Let's give the board a bit of a clean with some IPA. Right, with everything cleaned, let's get a new socket fitted. Just watching out for the orientation there. We've got a little notch on the motherboard just down there, so I want to line that up correctly. Otherwise, anyone coming to it at a later date would potentially get confused. Right, let's just hold that down with a bit of tape. Just stop it falling out. What we'll do is we'll just do alternate corners just to keep it in place, and then we can solder it, whatever that is. We can just make sure it's lined up properly then afterwards. We'll do the opposite corner. Yep. Okay with that. So let's just have a look. So socket's in, all I've got to do now is fit the chip and test it. Right, let's put Stephen's power supply in. This is his floppy drive. We still got a disc in? Yes, we do. Right, moment of truth. There we go. Disc is working. Success. Might as well try the hard drive connection while we're here. So we'll do a quick reboot with the hard drive. So we just turn the power off. We'll connect up. So that's the mega files connected. I'll fire up the mega files. Give those a few seconds to spin up. So this should now just boot straight from the mega files. There we are, fully working. Ah, yes. Need a 1 meg machine to run a lot of the games off the mega file, but that is it. It's working, isn't it? So let's get it all put back together. Now I had put everything together and everything is working fine disc wise, but the mouse, it's that old ST problem. We have a problem with the mouse part. So it's not a major one. I just need to take the keyboard off again and resolder the connections, as Stephen won't want it with the dodgy mouse part. So we'll resolder those connections and get that working properly. Right, so back on the ST then, let's give it a while. No point putting it all together just yet, is there? Okay. Try wiggling that around. Yep, I'm happy with that. So let's get it put back together again. So there we have it, another Atari ST saved from the scrap heap, and it'll be shortly winging its way back to Stephen. But how common is the DMA chip failure on an Atari ST? Well, I've had quite a few Atari STs in my time, and this is the first time I've encountered it. But a quick Google online does seem to suggest that DMA chip is certainly regarded as a point of failure, but I'll leave you to Google that and have a read if that's something that interests you. But this is the first time I've encountered it, and it was quite an interesting fix. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed my content. There is always more interesting stuff to come, and hopefully I will see you again in another video very soon. Bye for now.